Sex is the point of contact between man and nature, where morality and good intentions fall to primitive urges and biological imperatives. Civilization is a thin crust over a volcano. The recurring paganism of history is the reassertion of that volcano, the unkillable vitality of nature against the fragile constructions of reason and order.
Camille Paglia's insight cuts to the quick of what she calls the pagan substratum of Western culture, that molten, primal energy civilization pretends to have tamed. When she says that civilization is a thin crust over a volcano, she is rejecting the comforting narrative of progress. For Paglia, reason, ethics, and institutions are not stable triumphs, but delicate masks drawn over the face of chaos. The libido, the instinctual forces of sex and aggression, never disappear. They are merely deferred, redirected, sublimated, but always present, always trembling beneath the surface. Her metaphor of sex as the point of contact between man and nature is crucial. It's not only about eroticism, it's about ontology. Sex is the biological imperative that refuses moral domestication. It mocks our higher pretensions, politics, art, religion, all of which are built atop this ancient rhythm of life's drive to reproduce and persist. In this sense, Paglia stands closer to Nietzsche than to Freud. For her, the Dionysian energy is not pathological but eternal, sacred in its danger. Civilization's beauty, its art, its law, its architecture, arises precisely because it has to negotiate with that danger. Paglia's worldview is anti-utopian. Where the Enlightenment imagines that rationality can perfect society, she insists that reason is merely a tool for surviving our own volcanic instincts. The history of culture, she argues, is a seesaw between repression and eruption, Apollonian order against Dionysian chaos. Each renaissance, each avant-garde, is the tremor of the buried volcano reasserting itself. When societies become too sterile, too moralistic, they provoke their own pagan revival, whether in art, fashion, or even politics. That's why her analysis remains prophetic. Every period of over-civilization breeds its own counterforce, its own primal scream. In her iconoclastic style, Paglia warns us that to deny this underworld of instinct is to become naive, to invite catastrophe. The wise culture doesn't try to extinguish the volcano, it learns to dance upon it. It builds temples, myths, and aesthetic forms that both contain and honor its energy. True art, for her, is not moral instruction, but ritual containment, a dialogue between Apollonian symmetry and Dionysian fire. This, she says, is why sex and art are inseparable. Both are expressions of life's indestructible force against the fragility of human order. So when Paglia speaks of the unkillable vitality of nature, she is not romanticizing chaos. She is reminding us of what we are, creatures who build fragile heavens above a churning earth. The challenge is not to conquer that volcano, but to acknowledge it, to shape its fire into meaning before it consumes us.